Still crying the same tears. From Emmett to Nolan, how many more years? Copper blood in these waters, Most High see us here. Peace be still, but the truth gonna appear. Emmett Till, young boy whistling in the store. White lies turned to lynch and dragged him from the door. Beaten, shot river, swallowed him whole. Open casket, mama showed the world his soul. Nolan Wills, 18, boat ride on the 4th. Only black in the circle, now they say he drowned for. Horn Island whispers, friends came back without him. Mississippi history, still hunting, still doubting. Same state, same pain, different name. Black boy lost in the Delta rain. When will it change? Lord, when will it change? Ancestors screaming, we never left this stage. 1955, Chicago boy down south for the summer breeze. Money, Mississippi, wrong place for a black team to breathe. Brian Stoll, maybe a whistle, maybe just a smile. Jim Crow cold broken, now they coming in the night. Wow, Roy and Malone snatched him from his uncle's floor. Tortured that baby, Fanta round, body in a Tallahatchie roar. Mutilated face, mama said let the world see. Acquitted by all white jury, not guilty, set him free. Sparked the movement, Montgomery rose from the flames. But the Delta dirt still holding black boys' names. Emmett was 14, just a child in his prime, lynched for existing in a twisted mind. Emmett Till, Nolan Wells, Delta shadows ringing bells. Black life cheap in these haunted lands. Most High coming with justice in his hands. 2026 July 4th, independence gone wrong. Broke the Horn Island with the crew, singing freedom songs. 18 years young, big heart, only copper in the mix. Friends white as the judge that let killers walking. 55 disappeared that day, body found on the shore 2 nights later. They say drowning, no foul play, but the family know better. Questions swimming deeper than the Gulf waters cold. Why leave your phone? Why the silence from the foe? Mississippi again, history echoing loud. Been Crump calling for truth, independent, autopsy proud. Was it accident or the past rising from the mud? Black boy with white friends, trust issues in our blood.
Why the same soil claim my sons? Ancestor never left, we still the chosen one.
From Till's open casket to Nolan's unanswered call. In time signs, Leviathan rising, watch the fall. No hate, just black love, we hold each other tight. But stop crashing out on each other and demand what's right.
Peace be still,
Through the storm we prevail,
Father's child,
we shall not fail. Both in Mississippi, Delta's cruel embrace. One lynched open, one body lost without a trace. Emmett's killers brag after the verdict came. Nolan's story fogged in speculation and shame. 14 or 18, young kings taken too soon. Waters claim the bodies, but the spirit touched the moon. Same fear, same doubt, same racist undercurrent flow. But we wiser now, cameras, voices won't let go. Indigenous copper, mountain builder stand tall. We walk together, ancestors answer the call. No more silent nights, no more cover graves. Justice for Emmett, justice for Nolan. Raise the blade.
Emmett Till, Nolan Wells,
Tell now,
Emmett Till,
but our spirit never failed. We got black love, revolution now. Most High know my heart, make it right somehow.
peace be still.
Peace be still. From Till to West, the story's still real. Let the world see, let the truth be free. Let the world see, let the world see. Let the truth be free.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's see who's in here. Bronze Flat Power God. Okay, let's get into it. Love Christy, Jaden, the infamous Marty Marr, Buckhorse DC, Pearly, Irma. All right, we the people. I see you, Greta Lee. Let's get into it. Hadassah, Chris B, 504 Nola. I see you, Desmond. Wayno is here. Nicole. All right, Deronda. High Confessions. Love Christy. Aqua Girl Rising. Let's get it popping, Keisha. All right, Nessa G, The Lounge. All right. Everybody hit that like button. Trisha, I see you, beloved. Pearly. Okay, so now with that all being said, shout out to all of my loyal royals. I see you, Equator, Cookie, Anita Harrell, Betty Boop. Okay, Aqua Girl Rising. Shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay, and also a special thank you to my new moderators. All right. So with that all being said, I see you, Anthony. Okay, Kale is here. All right, Gift Bringer. Okay, so with that all being said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Everybody hit that like button. Also, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed to the Queen's channel, especially if you have not been receiving your notifications. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so that being said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find her products at Walmart.com. Okay, and don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so let's get ready to get black into it. Let's get it popping because Officer Ruckus here has been working overtime. Okay, he's been working overtime for Team Wanton Supremacy. That's what he's been doing. He is a paid minion. Okay, he's a paid minion, and what they're all trying to do collectively is tip the scales of justice in favor of Nolan's frenemies. And let me just tell you all something that I find very interesting. Do you all know that they are removing certain content that we post about Nolan's case? Did you all know that? That's absolutely what they're doing. Now, I have had at least 5 people tell me that their videos have been taken down. I've had one of my videos taken down on TikTok. And The Lounge had one of her videos. I believe The Lounge had 2 of her videos taken down off of TikTok. But I know some other content creators have said that their videos are being removed or that they're having a difficult time posting the videos. Now, that's happened to me a couple of times too. Okay, now what is going on here? Is the government involved in this whole Nolan Wells thing? Well, yeah, I absolutely believe they are. Let us not forget that Trump's nefarious FBI, led by none other than Small Change Patel, are down there in Mississippi right now in Ocean Springs as we speak. Because quite frankly, not Cash Patel himself, but the FBI came down there not to help with the case and to find out what happened to Nolan, but to instead try to make the other people portray them as victims. Now, oh, sure, people have been arrested for making threats. Okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, they still could be trying to help get justice for Nolan. And why aren't they looking for the people that are making the threats to Nolan's family? Did you find that interesting that nobody's been arrested for the threats made to them, credible threats? Okay, there's proof and receipts. Not one person arrested, but there's 2 arrested on the other side. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Then people that are speaking out are being targeted. Now we're receiving all kinds of threats. Now they've started to threaten the Queen. And y'all know how I am about threats, honey. I take kindly to it. Okay, I don't take kindly to it. What you're not going to do is scare me ever. You all may remember, for those of you who've been following me, you may remember a few years ago when someone threatened me and I recorded them and played it on the live. Okay, and what did I tell them? Okay, first of all, here's the thing. These people want to silence us because they know that the truth is being revealed. Now, but the sad thing is, in this nefarious country, and specifically the state of Mississippi, just because the truth is revealed does not necessarily mean that there's going to be justice. Sadly, that's just the way it is. Because the network of cleanup crews and the lies and deception and the political affiliations and all of these nefarious people that are working together in concert and collusion, okay, and to make sure that these people don't get any consequences if, in fact, they actually did anything, and I believe they did. Because the evidence, circumstantial though it may be, it looks very suspect. Okay, it looks very suspect at the end of the day. And Brandon Tatum, I cannot wait until the day finally comes when he gets his inward wake-up call, because it's coming. And he's not going to even see it. Okay, he's not even going to see it. It's going to be headed right in his direction, and he won't even know it until it's too late. And I cannot wait. Okay, I cannot wait. But anyway, if I have made the minions, the MAGA minions, i.e., the Confederates, if I have made them mad, I'm glad to hear it. Because if they're mad now, you're only going to get more angry, okay, in the days to come. See, when people make threats against the queen, y'all know how I get down, honey. I don't cower, I don't bend, I don't break. What I do is I double down and I bring even more of the heat. That's what I do. Y'all remember how it was when that person threatened me over wig one? Okay, please pay attention. But anyway, I don't want to make this about me because we're here to talk about Nolan and the nefarious devils who are, in fact, trying to make sure that there is no justice for his family. Okay, now if they don't get justice in the criminal court, they're darn sure going to get it in the civil, and also they're going to get it in the spiritual realm. And I'm going to tell you all something right now. All of us need to be collectively channeling the spirit of our ancestors. Okay, that's what we need to be doing. We need to be channeling the spirit of our ancestors. Everybody hit that like button. Thank you in advance. That's what we need to be doing, people. Okay, that's what we need to be doing. Now let's get ready to get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Because I absolutely could not. Hold on, I had a video I wanted to show you all if I can find it before I got started. I get so many emails, then I can't find my own emails. Hold on. I do not feel like sifting through all of this. Okay, anyway, I'll try to find it later. But I had this video I wanted to show you all. Maybe this is it. Let me check real quick. Did you all know someone jumped off of the Brooklyn Bridge? Yeah, someone jumped off of the Brooklyn Bridge. Okay, anyway, I'll have to look for that later, but it was a really interesting video. A side-by-side comparison. Oh, here it is right here. I mislabeled it. I want you all to see this. This is just like the colonizer. Now, I've seen several of these videos as of late, but let's check this out because here's the thing. I know, did I just see Ashkan coming here? Let me see. Hey, Ashkan. With that being said, let's look at this video because I find it very interesting. You know, some people just steal other people's intellectual property and try to claim it as their own and don't give them any credit. And I think that is so trash. It really speaks to what kind of person they are as to them being so unoriginal, okay, and having no authentication at all. But I want you all to see how this colonizer stole this Black woman's entire script. Okay, please pay attention. It says, shaking my head. Black ADH creator exposes white creator for copying her viral video word for word. I mean, didn't even have the decency to try to switch it up just a bit. Absolutely despicable. Okay, in college, when people do things like this, it's called plagiarism, and you get expelled for it. Okay, you get expelled because that's how egregious it is. But here it is. Listen.
I need you to be quiet and let me over-explain it.
You need to be quiet and let me over-explain it.
Women with ADHD need their safe people to over-explain to.
Women with ADHD need their safe people to over-explain to.
Because there is something in us that feels the need to tell you everything.
There's something in us that feels the need to tell you everything.
I know you didn't ask us to, but if we don't explain every detail to you, we think that you think we're lying.
You're not asking us everything, but for some reason, if we don't tell you everything, we feel like you think that we're lying.
This is real life colonizer behavior and very unacceptable. Lori and I happen to both work with the same brands because, of course, we're both in the same niche, probably because she copies other ADHD creators. I don't know. But I will be sending a copy of my video and her video to one of the brands that we both seem to have worked with because I think it's important that they know that the creators that are representing their brand are stealing content from other creators. Stealing content was stolen. Let's roll the clips.
Let me tell you all something. How many times have you all seen me do that? How many times have you all seen me? That's right, a parrot. Exactly. And let's not forget, Dan said Queen. Melania stole Michelle's whole speech. Yes. Of course she did. She stole Michelle Obama's speech. Let me just tell you all why she did it. You see, here's the thing about people who do those sorts of things. First of all, they are not very smart. If they were so smart, they'd be able to come up with things on their own. And in fact, they would want to be unique and authentic and do things that separate themselves from other people. That's what they would want to do. Okay, so that their works will be identifiable with them. But instead, these nitwits who have no ethics, no morals at all, they just want to take credit for other people's things because they're not capable of doing anything original or noteworthy themselves. Now, Michelle Obama wrote or had a brilliant speech. Melania copied it word for word. She copied it word for word. And the MAGA minions didn't say a word. They didn't say anything. Now, how do you think that would have looked if Michelle had done the same? But see, Michelle is very educated, okay, graduated from 2 Ivy League colleges. And she's absolutely brilliant when it comes to intellect. And you see people who are not brilliant, who have less or low intellect, they're the type of people who do that. They're the type of people who do that, okay? But it should almost be a compliment to know that they obviously look up to you. That's why they copy from you. That's why they steal your talking points. And that's exactly what that lady did. I mean, but the fact that she didn't even change up the wording, she could have at least put it in her own words. Who does that besides a fool? Anyway, I just wanted to let you all know that I'm not the only one that complains about stuff like that. It is just annoying. But anyway, I digress. Okay, Melania still can't speak fluent English. That is true, beloveds. That is absolutely true. Okay, so now let's get into it. Let's talk about the updates in the Nolan Wells case. And you all need to remember that I have a surprise for you today. So make sure you tune in at 3 p.m. Okay, I promise you don't want to miss it. Tune in at 3 p.m. Now, that being said, let's talk about it because word on the street is Katie has dry snitched. Okay, I just saw this morning before I start the live when I was scrolling on TikTok. So what does Katie have going on? Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Taking it down because they don't want you to see what I have found. Katie has
Oh, let me say that. Yes, this video she claims was also taken down. And she had to put it back up. The other young lady that I showed you, the black young lady, I showed you her video days ago. Her video was taken down, or she said she had to redo it like 2 or 3 times and had to talk in code. What is going on here? I mean, they are really tipping the scales. That's why I'm doing this series, tipping the scales of justice, because that's exactly what's going on here. Please pay attention.
because they keep taking it down because they don't want you to see what I have found. Katie has dry snitched, y'all. Here we see Katie's Snapchat where she's wearing a teal swimsuit and she's with a girl in a blue and white striped swimsuit. On this video of the 3 boats, you're going to see a girl in a blue and white striped swimsuit. right here on Bart's boat. And right next to her, with the same long, wet hair, is a girl in a teal swimsuit on Bart's boat. Make sure you have your brightness turned all the way up, because here we have Katie in a teal swimsuit, and look at her head. She is wearing a white hat. Oh, look, the video of the boat getting towed. Teal swimsuit, white hat. And that's not all, folks. Again, turn your brightness all the way up, because right here, we've got somebody wearing red trunks. Oh, and look what we have here. Red trunks. And here's those same red trunks on the shore right after the fight with Tristan. Katie is claiming that she allegedly caught a ride home with somebody named Marty McGrath. It just so happens that a Marty McGrath is the co-owner of the Biloxi Bay RV Resort and Marina in St. Martin. Here it is, and my, that is a massive dock way out in the water. And would you look at that? It's right next to the grandparents' house. Now, in that report with the GPS coordinates, didn't they say that they went southwest towards St. Martin Bayou? Yeah, that's right, it did. And it also took them 45 minutes to get to that boat ramp over there. That only takes about 6 minutes on land. Like I said, they are trying to take down my page. Make sure you are following my backup here. But Katie, I want to say one thing to you. You're young, and I know you don't realize this yet, but these are not your friends. Be a hero. Do what's right. This is now my third time because they keep taking...
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Okay. I find that very interesting, Katie. I find that very interesting. I sure do. What do y'all think about that? Damn it, Bart. Okay. Wow. So, didn't I tell y'all that somebody must have been talking to Katie? Because why? If you remember, when Warren was on the Brandon Ruckus show, remember how he said, I pointed this out to you all because it was so slight that people may have missed it. But if you all remember, just days ago, I pointed out to you that when Warren was doing that interview, he slipped up and then he tried to clean it up because he said, yeah, my buddy called Katie, or he said he texted her. My buddy texted Katie because we knew that Nolan was last seen with her. And then he said everybody was calling and texting Katie. When he said everybody was calling and texting Katie, I knew that was a lie. You're trying to cover up because you slipped up and said that your buddy, who is Bart, called Katie. Okay? And he didn't call her about Nolan because they already knew what happened to Nolan. He called her likely because they were getting their stories straight. I want you all to pay attention. Now, this is all alleged. This is all alleged. I don't know who did what as of yet. But yeah, the lies are coming out. Okay, I believe that Nolan is speaking to us from the grave. Okay, everything's going to come out in the wash. And these devils better get ready. Okay, they better get ready. As far as I'm concerned, Bart, you need to come to the front and center because you have some explaining to do. Okay? Sitting there trying to scare people with lawsuits. Let me tell y'all something, honey. When they came out talking about suing, that was the least of my worries because I wouldn't give a darn. I can be litigious too. Okay? At the end of the day, I already told you all, they're not going to sue any darn body because what they don't want is a period of discovery. Okay? So they're just using this as a scare tactic. And even if they do try to sue anyone, it's going to work out bad for them. Please pay attention. Okay? Please pay attention. And I'll tell you another thing too. This is the end of the road, the straw that broke the camel's back. Mississippi, I'm talking to you. You're not going to keep getting away with all this Black Death ruled as suicides, okay? Or accidental drownings. And where do y'all find out some more sketchy stuff that's been going on? Okay, where do y'all find out? But like I said, tune in today at 3 if you want the truth. But I find that very interesting. Very interesting. So anyway, let's continue. I'm going to show y'all Brandon Tatum acting ghetto too. Yeah, I find it interesting. He was acting just like the people that he claims to hate. He was acting black, y'all. It was the first time in my life I've ever seen Brandon Tatum acting black. Now, I'm not saying he was acting black because he was getting ghetto. I'm saying he was acting all tough. You know how a black man acts when they're ready to give somebody the smoke? He was literally acting like that. But he calls us ghetto when we do it, but he was doing the same thing. Okay, he was doing the same thing and talking about kicking somebody's butt. Can y'all imagine Tatum fighting a black person? Now I could see him fighting one of his MAGA minions. Okay, but fighting a real black man down somewhere, I don't care how big he is. Okay, we already know how that would go. We already know how that would go because it's so obvious he doesn't have a heart. Okay, his heart pumps Kool-Aid. Okay, he's scared of the white man. Okay, so I know he doesn't want to smoke with a real black man. That's what he doesn't want. All right, but anyway, I'm going to show y'all that later so we can all have a laugh at his expense. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Did y'all know he went to Jubilee the other day? This thing called Jubilee, and made a whole fool of himself as usual.
Sam here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update. And this doctor, Paula Harmon, had this amazing message without even saying a word.
Now it says, as an ENT surgeon, I know the larynx, trachea, lungs, and spine are all necessary to determine the cause of death. And they took out the vital organs that they knew would not allow you to determine. And that's why you know there's a cover up. They know absolutely that Nolan didn't drown. Okay, they know he didn't drown. The body was not waterlogged. His body was found on the shoreline. How was his body conveniently found on the shoreline 2 days later, early in the morning, when 2 days prior they searched by air and by land and didn't see him on a small island that's only 10 to 13 miles? Make it all make sense. His body was placed there. I advocate for children ages 0 to 21. I know that the world cannot be silent about the wrongdoings against a child. Well, clearly they can. Look at the Epstein files. Nolan Wells was a child.
What do you guys think about it? Here is a surgeon saying that they couldn't have possibly done the correct autopsy without the throat, the larynx, and the lungs. What do you guys think? Secret Service Sam out Samson for president of the world. Secret Service Sam here with...
Well, they knew exactly what they were doing, honey. Like I said, and like I told you all plenty of times, they didn't even have the decency. Not even the decency that they have to send notes to the other pathologists explaining why they kept those vital parts. Now, Mark Geragos came out and spoke on the fact that they want to...
Y'all know who Mark Geragos is? If you don't know who Mark Geragos is, I suggest you Google him. Mark Geragos is a prominent trial lawyer. He's particularly known for criminal defense and high-profile civil litigation. He's tried numerous cases before a jury, and he's represented well-known clients over several decades. He's represented Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Winona Ryder, Jesse Smollett, Scott Peterson. In addition to criminal defense, he's handled significant civil lawsuits. He's done wrongful deaths, business disputes, and personal injury. So now that you know who Mark Geragos is, I want you to understand what he's about to tell you. He sat down with Harvey Levin on their show, Two Angry Men, and Harvey Levin asked him, can Ben Crump basically be sued for doing his job? Spoiler alert, y'all about to be mad. Enjoy.
Not y'all about to be mad. D Major said it pumps orange Kool-Aid, allegedly. Yeah, it probably does. Thank you for that insight, beloved, and your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
So, Mark, now some of Nolan Wells' friends are getting angry that Ben Crump has insinuated, and I think this is a fair statement, insinuated that there might be foul play in Nolan's death and that maybe some of the friends were involved, and there's even this overlay of racism. And the father of one of the friends now says he's considering suing for defamation. This is a really interesting case because it's a very public case. Ben Crump represents the family, and they are trying to put pressure on authorities in Mississippi to do a thorough investigation. They have their suspicions about whether they will or not, and they are raising these issues. What do you think about the notion that if you put a cloud over somebody without directly saying they're responsible, that in itself could be defamation?
Well, it depends on where you are, and there's kind of robust law on this defamation by implication versus defamation.
But that's what we're talking about. So, I mean,
it's defamation.
What about that just as a principle? About
and I have watched some of these interviews, and not the least of which the governor has come out and made some rather harsh statements, calling Ben Crump a liar, and there's been other people who have said this. He's doing what you would want a lawyer to do. I know that when I read the comments, which you don't do, which I do religiously, there'll be a lot of people saying, well, you're just another lawyer. But understand something. If you're a mother and a father and you've lost your child, what you want are answers, and that's what you're looking for. I know that people don't like it, and I know that it's framed in such a way that it can polarize, but the fact remains that there are people who have lost a child, and they should be able to get the answers that they want. So I do take issue with some of the kind of pushback that they've been getting, and there are lines that are drawn, but I haven't seen anything so far that crosses a line into defamation by implication.
It's insane that y'all wanted Ben Crump to get sued for basically doing his job. And do you think that man is stupid enough to be doing these press conferences and to say something that will get him caught up? You even heard Mark Geragos said this man is doing what he's paid to do. He is being paid to get answers. And even Mark Geragos said he don't like the pushback that the family been getting. Yeah, pick up your jaw. So for those of you that wanted to see Ben Crump get sued so bad, yeah, you ever heard of rocks? Go kick them. Even Al Sharpton was like, yo, if y'all want to sue us, bring it. Like, I'm with it.
Then another one talking about they going to sue us.
Listen.
Well, let me tell you something about lawsuits. If you sue us, which would be something that I would welcome, because then we get our attorney, and you as plaintiffs would have to come in and be deposed. And I'd like to depose all of those involved, so they would have to tell us what they did, what they didn't do, under oath. Under oath. So bring it, you can drop it off right here, the paper's right here now, so we can get the deposing, since none of these young boys are saying nothing. You file a lawsuit, they gonna have to say something. And they gonna have to not only talk, I want to see their cell phone logs. I want to see all their social media. Let's open it up. Let's let it go.
Y'all really think these people have been doing this for decades and they don't know how to move? It's sad because y'all really thought these people are shaking in their boots because they said lawsuits. Lawsuits for what? For doing their jobs? For saying they have questions and they're trying to get answers? That's not defamation. Oh, wait, who said that? Mark Geragos just said that. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about them?
They sound so ridiculous. Like I told you all, they're not going to sue anyone. That is a scare tactic. Okay, that's a scare tactic, and that's what makes them look even more guilty, because it's so obvious that they're just trying to silence people. Nobody's scared of them. Honey, we're going to keep on fighting for the truth until it gets out. Please pay attention. Now, mind you, psychotherapist Elliot Connie, well, he is talking about Brandon Tatum again when he went to the Jubilee experience, when he had his little Jubilee experience. So let's get into it. Okay, Irma said charges coming from the fake news reports, though. Charges coming for the fake news reports. There should be. Absolutely. There should be, beloved. Okay, thank you for insight into the topic and your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, listen, at the end of the day, I knew they were all talk. Okay, they're not serious. I mean, I guess they thought we were just going to get scared. Content creators are going to stop posting stuff. No, it's not going to happen. And as you can see, many of us have doubled down and are going even harder in the paint. I've never stopped dragging Bart. Okay, Truth Brown even made a song about Bart. Okay, please pay attention. So nobody's stopping. Okay, this train is continuing on down the track. We won't be deterred. Now let's get into it. Like, stuff, everyone, please like and share.
Officer Tatum went on a platform called Jubilee, where you debate 20 people that have an opposing view than you. Now, I've been watching that debate show all day of his experiences. I want to show you a clip, then I want to talk to you about what is happening here. So watch this clip and then stick around so that I can decode it for you.
Explain it. Explain it. I got you. Do you know? I don't agree with you. Do you know the Black maternal mortality rate in the United States of America?
I don't know it, but I do know this, that Black people have a disproportionate effect in that area.
Yeah, it's 50.3 versus the white.
But that's not necessarily. Discrimination and disparities are different. That's not necessarily meaning.
Let me tell you something I noticed about him, and this is what you notice about all narcissists during debates. They love to talk over people. They will not let you finish your thoughts. Okay, look how he just interrupts. Now he's going to do this continuously. That's what he's going to do. Gino, Zach, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
That somehow the medical system is intentionally discriminating against
literally medical racism. You got to let me finish. You got to let me finish. 14.5 when it comes to the white maternity mortality rate. Do you know what the infant mortality rate is?
I do not know that offhand.
Yeah, the infant mortality rate is 10.8 versus white 4.5. There was a study that was completed that showed that when it comes to white babies, no matter who they're treated by, whatever race their doctors is, whoever they're treated by, they have the same possibility to life versus anyone else. Black babies, literally the survival rate for Black babies drop unless it's a Black doctor taking care of the baby. Everyone else, the baby out of the womb.
What you're saying.
Man, see how he won't let the man finish talking? And here's another thing. He should have brought up that white woman who was going around to the NICU breaking the bones of the premature Black babies. She only got 3 years. Baby, if any of those children had been mine, honey, she wouldn't have to worry about being in jail. Okay, she'd been another place, much worse. But let's continue.
The Black baby has less of a possibility to life. It's literally studied.
Let me give you a perspective, because just because there's a statistical data point, you gotta work through the data points, because what you're saying is that every white doctor is racist against Black people. That's what
Nobody said that. Do you hear how stupid he is and how he tries to run with these narratives? And if it weren't true, he's saying, look past, you got to run past the data points. So the data's not important all of a sudden, but when he's trying to disparage the Black community, oh, it's very important. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. This man is so disingenuous, and he does this because he's getting paid to do so. You should see how much money these MAGA fools give him. They're all fools, and he is too. Okay, they think that they can use him to make us look bad, but the only one that looks bad is him. Okay, he doesn't realize. Here's the thing. This is what people like him, raccoons, don't realize. And this is why they always, sooner than later, get their ninja wake-up call. You see, what they don't realize is this. They actually think that white people like them, love them, trust them. They don't. They absolutely don't. You're just a tool of their supremacy, their want for supremacy, their need and desire and hope and wish for it. But here's the thing. The reason is that they always get their ninja wake-up call is because, first of all, they don't really like them. And here's why. Because they look at them as if, okay, you're turning your back on your own people. You're dragging your own people. So if your own people, you're not loyal to them, why would we ever expect you to be loyal to us? So they never trust these raccoons. And I don't know how the raccoons just don't get it. Know how that doesn't click in their mind. They think these white people really love and trust them. They do not. They do not. Because they see you. They see how you do the same people of which you come from. Now, they like for you to do it because that's their narrative that you're helping to paint. But at the same time, they also know that your own people, this is what you do to them. Well, what in the hell would you do to us? Okay? So please pay attention. They never trust these raccoons.
Telling you that's medical racism.
So you're saying, so are you saying that when you go to the hospital, doctors are intentionally being racist against Black people? I'm saying
that doctors are taught through pseudoscience. Question for you. Have you ever heard the myth that Black people have thick skin?
I never heard of that.
It's literally a medical practice.
I've never heard of that.
It's something that's
I've never heard of it.
It's something that's derived from chattel slavery. It said black people have less nerve endings and thicker skin. And what
Where
they
is
said
that taught at?
Oh, in medical school, literally medical school.
That black people have thicker skin.
I'll give you an example.
Now, wait, hold on. Now we got to break this down.
Example.
So when you go to the hospital today, they're going to treat you differently because you somehow have thicker skin.
Yeah.
This is him gaslighting and deflecting and trying to prevent this man from getting his point across because he knows that the man likely has receipts and proof and he won't be able to debunk or dispute it. That's why he's talking over him and trying to change the narrative. With a person like this, when you're debating them, what you cannot ever allow them to do is control the debates, control the narrative, and gaslight and deflect. And specifically, you can't allow them to talk over you. You have to take charge when you're talking to someone like him. That's what you have to do.
Yes.
What medical practice is in place right now that treats you
They're
differently?
literally giving less pain medication to black people because they think black people lie about their pain levels because they have less nerve endings. This is literally documented.
So you're saying every doctor is filled.
And I want you to pay attention to how he twists the person's words. So you're saying every doctor, of course he's not saying every doctor, you idiots, but this is what he does. This is what he does. Every doctor. He never said every doctor. Clearly, it's not all of them.
With racism. And so when a black person go to the hospital, they won't treat them fairly. They are incapable of treating black people fairly because they're black.
What I'm telling you is this is something that has been taught.
No, it's not. There's correlation and causation of two different things.
Can I give you direct information?
You're saying
there's literally studies. You think it's a correlation causation, but there's studies on this.
What about comorbidities? What about the health of the mother?
You're
going to the hospital,
you're not engaging
black people
in the premise just because you don't know the information.
No, you're.
There are two really important things that are happening in that clip. And I want to be very, very clear as you guys see this, because this is very, very important with how we digest information. Now, very often you're going to get data that does not support your original idea. Now, really intelligent and really mentally healthy people can shift their viewpoint as a result of new data. That's literally what learning is. Now, you hear this young man who's debating ex-officer Tatum is giving him data points explaining his position. And instead of saying, oh, I didn't know that, now I know that, so I'm going to move my position, Mr. Tatum is defending his position by saying, you can't have data inform you. He literally said, you have to break down each data point. The other thing you see him doing that is really unusual, and it prevents learning, it prevents growth, it prevents evolution, is you see him basically if I make a point that says there's medical racism, oftentimes racists think you're saying every single doctor is a racist, thus hates black people. But what they're actually saying is there is bias in the medical system. And the person debating ex-officer Tatum is giving him reason and justification and explaining the root of that bias, which of course is not saying that every single non-black doctor or white doctor is a racist and actively discriminating against black patients. What they're saying is there's bias in the system, and he's explaining where the bias comes from. Now, I want you guys to be able to see these things really, really clearly, because when we can see them, then we don't fall victim to being tricked by what we're seeing. And we ourselves need to be able to learn from new content and new data to allow us to have shifting positions. Healthy people, and I mean emotionally healthy, I mean mentally stable people can change their mind and shift their viewpoint. You just saw an example in that interview. Ex-Officer Tatum is not able to do that.
That's because he's a whole idiot. And here's the thing. I don't believe for a minute that he actually thinks that the man was saying that all doctors, all white doctors or non-black doctors are racist. Tatum is stupid, yes, but he's not that stupid. You see, that's a common tactic that he does. It's called gaslighting. It's called deflecting, okay? It's called him spinning the narrative. It's just like when people were going in on him and then he comes and does a video saying, y'all just want me to hate white people. I'm not going to hate white people. No one said anything about him hating white people. In fact, the people who were saying these things likely don't even hate white people. They were talking about a specific group, racist, that he caters to. Okay? Because we know he doesn't like white liberals. So he doesn't even like some of the white people. He only likes the ones that are conservatives and who are racist. Okay? Who go along with his own nefarious opinions and views. So that's just something that Brandon does at the end of the day. But let's continue. He's a whole idiot, and many people went in on him. Let's get into it. Like stuff, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Very important that you like the video. Thank you in advance.
Another Nolan Wells case bombshell. Everyone wanted to know where Brandon Tatum came from. Well, I just found out. Let's talk about it. We all said Nolan Wells' case did not deserve the criticism that it was getting. His parents did not deserve or do not deserve the criticism that they have been getting from Brandon Tatum. We all speculated that Brandon Tatum was bought, but when you guys hear this information or see this information I'm about to share with you, it puts the pieces to the puzzles together. It's all purely speculation, but it all fits. It shows possibly where Brandon Tatum comes from and the reason why Mississippi has mishandled Nolan Wells' case the way they have. This bombshell is like none other. And as you'll hear from Big Kish over on YouTube, all thanks to him, the TikToker had put this information on her page, but all of a sudden it was wiped from it. So screenshot this, record it, share it, do whatever you want to do with it, because it may not stay on my timeline. Knowing the information in here, more than likely it will be taken down. Take a look at this information.
Hey, there's this TikToker who goes by the name of J Megan, and she went in. I'm talking about she do a lot of research. She do a lot of investigating. We still gonna keep everything all alleged, but the video is nowhere to be found. I found the video because somebody else is reacting to it, and I want y'all to get it, save it, because obviously she's on to something because it's scrubbed from her page. It ain't on her page. So I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna just let it ride out. I believe she's saying something important. I want y'all to listen to how she mixed Tatum into some big wigs. And she got some important people in here. I'm telling you, I believe she said something that she wasn't supposed to say, and she had to take it off her page. Check it out, y'all.
Before I dive into this video, I want y'all to go follow J Megan. She's been on this Nolan Wells case since the beginning, and she's very great in finding details, discrepancies, lies. She's very well diverse in connecting the dots. She knows exactly how to do it. She has time for the research. She goes in depth with it. And I want you all to, and I'm gonna shorten the video, so if you really want to go see the entirety of the video.
Look what somebody say. They took this off of her page. Oh, really? That's why I said this video is important. It's very important, y'all. I'm telling you, this joint is important.
Go to J Megan's page and you can find it. But I'm gonna bring something, I'm gonna kind of make it kind of short, and then watch to the end, and it's gonna surprise you. It's gonna be a bombshell.
It's a bombshell.
And now we will understand.
It's a bombshell, y'all.
Tatum is so connected to this case. It's a bombshell. It's a doozy. Watch it.
Now, wait a minute. So Warren already had a boat hooked up when he woke up that morning. I'm assuming that that had to be the Triton that was hooked up, right? Then he said that Wyatt went and put his smaller boat, the Palm Beach, into the water. Then Warren said that he was the one who drove the Palm Beach to their friend's dock. Assuming that Wyatt drove the Triton to the dock and Bart drove his own boat to that dock, who drove the Palm Beach out to the water then? Because he said that he got a ride in with Bart, even though at one point during the interview, he said all of his stuff was on the Palm Beach. So it sounds to me like Warren was the one driving the Palm Beach. I'm also like, what parent would let their kid, who's obviously going off to party, take two of their boats and let their drunk friends drive? Like, it isn't making sense to me. I mean, maybe these parents are just shitty parents and irresponsible. Then he also said that he contacted Bart that morning to see if he could come. And Bart was like, yeah, I can give all your friends a ride, blah, blah, blah. According to him, there were 10-ish people, 15 people on that boat. So where were those people originally supposed to ride in on? They'd been planning it for weeks. They were excited about it. Why did Bart have to suddenly step in and take all these people? And remember, Bart said that his dad had canceled going out on the boat that day, so he could do it. Something's not adding up here. I think there was an adult somewhere in this mix. It would also explain how they all thought quickly on their feet with the sea tow. And I wouldn't be surprised if an adult didn't come out there and just go off with other adults that were also on Horn Island and let the kids hang out with the boats. Here's where things are going to get interesting, folks. There are more GPS coordinates in the report than what we have seen publicly. I'm gonna play you a clip from the interview, but remember, at 5:30 is when they started picking up regular speed, all right? It's right here, 525, speed miles, 30 to 35 knots. So here we go.
Planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou. And we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt.
He just said they went to Bart's house, because didn't I tell you all that Bart, the fart, lives in Fort Bayou? Well, let's continue.
Like, the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and dumped.
Remember, I told you all we caught him in a lie right there also, because he said Wyatt, the reason they stopped was so Wyatt could jump in and put the plug in the boat. But Bart claims that he's the one that pulled the plug from the boat. So what's really going on? I brought that up the other day.
It, and I went back to my buddy's house and we ate and, napped for a little bit. It was a long day at Don's.
Now you heard him. He said that they took off going 40 miles an hour and they didn't go to his buddy's grandparents' house, but they went to Fort Bayou to go do a plug thing. Except right here, 5:44, vessel arrives at El Camino Road. 8 minutes later, then it departs from El Camino Road and headed east into Fort Bayou. So right there, we have a lie. The boat did stop before going into Fort Bayou. 6 minutes later, it comes back to El Camino Road, and the vessel departed El Camino Road half an hour later, headed southwest to St. Martin Bayou, and then turned southeast into Biloxi Bay Bridge. Then they went back to the Bayou Boat Launch. Then the boat was taken to Cardinal Lane, which was Wyatt's residence. Now, because I am an absolute genius, I was able to find it. This was where they left and where they came back that day, then came back several times. Now, first off, why aren't we seeing footage of them returning that day? We know that Nolan was with them when they left. So why do they have the security cams from that morning, but not that night? Whose grandparents lived there? Jack Spatalo, whose family owns a farm.
Now, I want you all to pay attention, because do you all realize that yesterday when Rupert was on here, he said that? Do you all remember him saying that? Because I had not even noticed. I didn't even know there was a still shot of them. But Rupert literally said that on my broadcast. He said that there's footage of them there and Nolan's with them, but why isn't there footage of them returning? But let's continue. Likes up, everyone, like and share.
Pharmacy. It goes back deeper than that, because George Patala Sr., which is Jax's great-grandfather who is deceased, as it turns out, his great-grandfather was appointed and served on the staff of Mississippi Governor Cliff Finch. As you can see, I've confirmed Jax's relation to him. And as it turns out, Cliff Finch, well, he was in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1960 to 1964 and supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor, to preserve segregation in the state. The federal grand jury conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. But Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And those sort of political connections seem to trickle down through the generations. So now we know why the governor got involved. And I started looking into the lawyer that's handling the defamation case from the Bart family. So from 2015 to 2018, he was state director of Americans for Prosperity. Then in 2018 to 2020, he was vice president of Stand Together while being vice president of Americans for Prosperity. Stand Together is a Charles Koch nonprofit, and Americans for Prosperity is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group affiliated with Charles Koch and David Koch. And if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they're fucking evil. Guess who's one of the major funders for Turning Point USA? Major donors for the Koch brothers also are primary financial pillars for Turning Point USA, specifically their campus operations. And guess who used to serve as the director of urban engagement?
Did she?
That is absolutely crazy. Okay. So Brandon Tatum, like I told you all, he always has a motive and agenda, and he's being paid very well to do so. Completely exposed. How many times do we have to see him getting exposed? No, we already know that he's been telling lies about this case and painting narratives. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. I got time to go in on him today to watch the people drag him as they should. Talking about he's over urban engagement, really?
You don't have to apologize for the stuff that you said. You're going to have to take that video down and apologize because you are part of the lie.
Oh, have you ever apologized or taken a video down, Mr. Tatum, when you were proven wrong? Or do you just double down every time? Now, I know you didn't like the video I made about you a couple weeks ago, and you even threatened to sue me. Why don't you go through with it? If I was wrong and you were right, why don't you go through with it and sue me? And by the way, that was a really dumb decision because you're getting absolutely bodied in my comment section. You and your wife are getting toasted, and deservedly so. You work for Turning Point, and there's absolutely zero reason to ever trust you. You guys remember Sonia Massey? 2 years ago, she called 911 because she suspected a prowler outside. Cops came and entered her home, and one of them shot her 3 times, once in the face. Tatum, the former cop, said it was justified.
When she lunged at the police officers with the pot of boiling water, that Grayson was justified in using deadly force against her.
Sonia did not lunge at the cop. And if she did, why did he get sentenced to 20 years? This right here proves it was not a good shoot. It was not justified, officer. And to break shit down as simply as I can, you saw a white cop and a black woman, and your number one goal in life was to protect the white man. That's your job. Dude, you must have been a terrible cop. You must have gotten your inspiration from the cop on Boys in the Hood. Now, please tell us about Nolan Wells and his friends.
And we got evidence that it wasn't just 4 boys with him. We got evidence that they asked Nolan to get back on the boat, and he refused to because he grown. I know that they left, and they had nothing to do with this.
You know his friends left, and they had nothing to do with this. You know it for a fact, right? Your decision was made even before you started interviewing these kids. We all know damn well there is nothing you could have seen or heard that would have made you question those white boys. You know damn well. You could have seen a picture of one of them holding his head underwater, and you wouldn't say a thing about it. They're innocent in your eyes because that's what you're being paid for. Now, some people say he was on the boat, and some people say they left him behind. So who do you believe? How do you know who to believe? It doesn't matter because you already made up your mind. And you're criticizing anyone that wants more investigations because things don't add up. So let's say Nolan Wells decided to stay and talk to some girls. Why would he not say, hey, let me grab my phone and keys first? And why were their messages deleted on his phone? There was a recording of the call they made that raised a lot of questions. An unbiased person would ask more questions because nothing is clear yet. Well, it's clear for you. I'm not saying those boys are innocent. I'm not saying those boys are guilty. I'm not saying there's racism involved. I'm not making any claims because we need more information. This totally could have been an I know what you did last summer moment. But no matter what comes out, we know whose side you're going to be on.
And
Exactly. He's always going to be on the white side, whether right or whether wrong. That's just what it is. But now let me go to this clip because before we go back on Tatum, because here's the thing. Speaking of Sonia Massey, you know, karma always comes around. It doesn't forget anyone's address. So let's talk about what's going on with the officer who took her life. Now, first of all, Nolan says, Queen, I heard our melanin is being collected and sold for top dollar. Has anyone else heard this? Yes, beloved. I've been hearing that for years. I actually heard it probably the first time 10 years ago in 2016. In fact, I did a video about it on Facebook before I was ever on YouTube. If I'm not mistaken, at this point, melanin is probably worth of over $500 per gram. And so that's why I feel like a lot of times the cops shoot to kill Black people because it's for the melanin. Because if you think about it, the average man is about 5'11", say 180 pounds. Just think about a man at that height and weight is probably worth about $2 million, $2.4 million. Okay. So with that all being said, I find it very interesting, but yes, they have been doing this, beloved. They absolutely have been doing this. It's nothing new for me. This is what the devils do. Okay, because first of all, why are we even having a discussion and research about how much melanin costs per gram? That should tell us everything we need to know about the devils. Okay, and just so you all know, for those of you who don't know, melanin, the entire universe is made up of melanin. Okay, the entire universe. So that should tell you a lot about us. Now, with that all being said, let's continue with this information on Sonia Massey, or her killer, shall I say. And the fact that Brandon Tatum sat there and flat out lied and said that she charged towards him with a pot of boiling water. She never touched the pot, or she picked it up, but he told her to go turn it off. It seems like he almost set her up. And then he got upset because she rebuked him in the name of Jesus. You know why he got upset? Because he has demons. That's why. That's why. Only a person that's demonically possessed would get that upset because someone rebuked them. And she likely saw his demon and called it out. Please pay attention.
And we have to go to court. It sends me into a depression or crying. If you look at me when this first happened, you'll see the difference. I look like hell, formed over twice because of this. And I'm tired of crying.
I think Sean Grayson should be allowed out of prison, but my daughter can get up from that cemetery. When she tells me, okay, Daddy, take your foot off his neck. I'm gonna keep my foot on his neck. I don't care how many times he goes before the prison review board to try to get out of his 20-year sentence.
I know that he's having a really rough time in prison because he has colon cancer. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy besides him. And he knew he had cancer the night he killed my mom. I don't feel bad at him at all.
I'm very grateful for the outcome today. Having said that, we know we have an uphill battle. We know he can turn right around and file again today. So we will stay vigilant and keep doing it if we have to. Thank you.
Okay. He's dying, you guys. He's dying from colon cancer, and he wants to be allowed to be out of prison because of his medical situation. But it's not going to happen. He's been denied, and rightfully so. Okay, rightfully so. It's always interesting when devils want to play the victim. Okay, when a low down person does something, takes someone else's life, and then when something bad happens to them, everyone's supposed to feel sorry? Yeah, I don't think so. So he's getting his karma just like George Zimmerman for killing Trayvon Martin. Yeah, George Zimmerman, they say that he's homeless, okay, on the streets and having mental health issues. Please pay attention. Now, but let me say this about Sonia Massey. When Sonia Massey told him that I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, let me tell you all something. She saw something in his spirit, and it was nothing more than evil. That man has plenty of demons, and those demons are taking him out right now. You see, one thing about it is demons cause sickness in the body. Now, if you don't know that, look it up in spiritual information, metaphysical information, and knowledge. Demons cause sickness in the body. And that man absolutely had demons. That's why, and Sonia saw it. And I want you to pay attention because they said that Sonia Massey had mental health issues. Maybe she didn't have mental health issues. Maybe she was spiritually gifted or spiritually insightful because we can see things that other people can't. Sometimes we can see the demons around a person. We can see it in their aura. We can see it in their eyes. Okay. And at the end of the day, sometimes when you are a person who has spiritual gifts, that can easily be mistaken for mental health issues because you may be clairaudience, which means you can hear sounds and things and voices that other people can't hear. And if you're telling people these things, they'll say, oh, she's crazy. She's hallucinating, but you're not. You may be able to see things or people, spirits that other people cannot. And if you tell them other people, they'll say, oh, she's crazy. There's nobody there. Who is she talking to? What is she looking at? So I don't think that Sonia Massey was necessarily mentally ill. I think that she was spiritually gifted, and some people around her didn't understand that because I think that she absolutely saw that man's demons and she rebuked them in the name of Jesus. And true to demon form, the demons reacted violently because they have an aversion to the name of Jesus and anything holy. Okay, that's how that goes. And I have seen people that are demonically possessed. Okay, I have seen their demons cast out and they become very violent, convulsing and things like that, or they want to attack you. That's what they do. And that's what he did. And right now, those demons that he had within him, they're taking him up out of here and nothing good is going to come to him because the thing about it is people who do dirt and they become demonically possessed, they may be doing things like playing with Ouija boards. They may be, dabbling in the occult in any type of way, nefariously or things like that. And when these demons, or they could be doing other things like abusing illegal substances, alcohol, have a corn with a pea addiction. All of these things allow demons to manifest in your life because you see, demons cannot just attack you or harass you unless they have a contract. And the way they get that contract is from you doing things that are an abomination to the Most High. That's how they are welcomed in to your life. And so whatever he did to welcome those demons in, what he didn't do is take the proper actions to rid himself of those demons. Because trust and believe, people who have demons, they know they have them. They may not know it first, but at some point they begin to realize that they have these demons. Okay. And some of them are fine with it. They accept their demons. But they don't do anything about it. But this is the result of that. So anyway, he's going to be out of here soon. Colon cancer is going to take him out. I don't wish death on too many people, but in his case, I surely won't be sorry when he leaves here. Okay. Now, with that all being said, there's actually only two people that I wish death on. Two people. And they're the most nefarious people on the planet. And they are murderers and genocidal maniacs. And I don't think I have to say their names because I think we all should know. Okay, so with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Let's continue. Let's continue with Rage Batum Tatum because here he is at the Jubilee.
Heard everything I've listened to thus far. Think you full of
Give me an example of what I've said that wasn't true.
Let me get to it.
Give me something I said that wasn't true.
Anybody here would disagree that good policing is bad. We're talking about bad policing. We're talking about bullshit policing. We're talking about the kind of policing that puts gentlemen like you and me in prison for unjust crimes. You like to cite that you're a police officer. Let me cite my professional background. Let me cite my professional background.
I have been in that profession.
10 years writing policy in government.
You weren't
at
a police
the local
officer.
And
But you weren't
state
a
of
police
California
officer.
levels. And
You never arrested anybody.
You didn't write policy.
What the hell does that have to do with anything? Nene said Tatum sounds like an ignorant fool. That's because he is. Listen, when you listen to this man speak, it is so obvious that he doesn't read or research. Okay, it is so obvious that he does not read or research. If he did, he would not say the ignorant things that he says. He wouldn't think the way that he thinks. But he's definitely a classless idiot. Okay, he's insidiously obtuse.
I did.
I enforce the law.
So, okay, I write the law.
But you don't enforce the law.
You don't enforce the law.
I
You don't
enforce the
enforce
law.
the law appropriately.
You just made it
You
up.
like to use one-offs. Let me use a one-off.
You don't need to use one off. You just make
in
it
the
up.
city of San Diego, there was a black police officer that sued the San Diego Police Department
Anecdotal.
with regard to, I mean, bro, all day you've been coming up with me. Now
I got
it's
statistical data
anecdotal.
points. Where do you want to go?
But, like, I need you to keep that same
Black
energy,
people
bro.
commit
I need you to
over
keep the
half of
same
all violent
energy.
crimes.
And that's the problem with black conservatives like yourself. You don't know how to keep
You're
the same
just
energy.
talking emotionally.
It was
Give me some facts.
me. Well, I'm trying to give you facts.
Hey, come on with it.
You supposed to be a police officer. Hold your head, bro. Hold your head. You interrupted everybody, bro. I got
You're
what,
here to
2-3
debate me.
minutes.
I'm not here to listen to you talk in circles.
But you talking like you was a state trooper, you was a Secret
But I know
Service.
cops.
and them.
I know cops all across the country.
But I did too.
I know
I did too.
policy. I know.
I
all
do
that.
too.
All right, get to your point.
You don't know policy because you never written one. He
We're
said
talking
not.
about policing in the black community. We're not talking about
I want
policy
to hold
writing.
you to account because police officers like you don't like accountability. So I want to hold you to account. I'm trying to get my story out, and if I can finish my story.
It's not story time, man. The point is, police do
point,
more good.
The point was
Police do more
The
good
point was with
in the
regard
black
to
community.
training. The San Diego Police Department showed a video training officers of that department depicting black people as primary perpetrators of crime. Everything I heard.
Let me tell you something. Tatum is just ghastly, okay? But let me tell you all something. He's talking about this training video where they show them depicting black people as criminals. Now, I showed you all that video years ago. Okay, so what they do is when they're training them and they're supposed to have the target in front of them, right? And usually the target is silhouette. Okay, it's not a person, it's just a silhouette. But in this training video, they had real black men, like they look like pictures of real black men that the police are shooting at for target practice, okay, that are for training. And I thought that was very interesting because you see what things like that do is it implants into the psyche. Okay, specifically someone who's already biased or racist, it puts that in the mind, or it doesn't have to. You don't have to worry about that being done for racists because it's already in their minds. But what it does is it puts that in your mind subconsciously. So now when you're out there in the streets and you see a black person, you're aiming at them just like you were at that target during practice. Okay, because why would they never have a white person on the target? They don't, and they never have. And also, I remember one time showing you all a video that when you go to those places where they have where you go for target practice, they had this guy come in there with a picture of a dog that he wanted to use, and they wouldn't allow him to do it. The white guy who owned the place got upset and told him, "You're not going to use that for target practice." Okay, but they had a black man's picture on a target. Okay, I want you to let that sink in for a minute. Okay, the hate against black people is so real, and Brandon Tatum allows himself to be used as a minion, a pawn, to further push the nefarious agenda. Now, before I go back in on him, let me just tell you all something else. Now, the other day, I told you all about the narrative they're trying to paint, right? Trying to act as though Nolan was drunk and had been doing illegal substances. I mean, just the lies and the things that they have said is so hateful. Like, what kind of people do this? But I also told you that they didn't have that same energy for Natalie Holloway's mother. The way they're treating his mother, they didn't have that same energy at all. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. And I'm just waiting for this toxicology report to come out to see what Officer Ruckus has to say about it. Because he's already basically told us it's going to come back that Nolan was on illegal substances. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Now, they've been trying to push this narrative that Nolan was drinking heavily, okay, trying to make it look as though he were drunk. But I know exactly why they're doing that. Okay, let's get into it. A decomposing body can test positive for alcohol even if the person had not been drinking. This is due to a natural process that occurs in the body during the stages of decay or decomposition. Okay, please pay attention. Now, this is due to microbial fermentation or putrefaction. Now, as the body decays, the internal bacteria and fungi break down tissues and ferment sugars. Please pay attention. This produces natural ethanol, i.e. alcohol, inside the corpse. The natural decay process can produce a measurable blood alcohol concentration known as BAC, and that's even if the person didn't drink anything prior to dying. Please pay attention. Postmortem microbial production usually results in lower blood alcohol concentration levels. Okay, please pay attention. But in rare cases of severe contamination, higher levels can absolutely appear. Remember how Tap Dancing Tatum said that the toxicology report would absolutely show that Nolan had something in his system. And by that, I mean illegal substances. He says the person who told him this was credible, right? Well, let's talk about why that could possibly be, even if he didn't take illegal substances. See, a decomposing body can also yield false positive results for illegal substances. Okay, please pay attention. Now, this would happen during the preliminary testing, but of course, the mechanism is different than it is for alcohol. Now, initial postmortem rug testing depends on rapid immunoassay screens, okay, similar to a urine test, okay, like a urine sample you'd give at the doctor's office. Please pay attention. An immunoassay is a lab test that measures the presence or the amount of a specific substance, okay? And this is done using an antibody and an antigen. Please pay attention. Now, the test uses an antibody, which is a protein made by the immune system. It locks onto a specific molecule called an antigen or an analyte. But that all being said, it could test positive for this illegal substance that starts with an O and a P, okay? And also other narcotics, okay? Please pay attention. I believe this is absolutely why Tap Dancing Tatum is trying to imply that Nolan was taking illegal substances, and he's so certain, okay, that the toxicology report will come back showing that there was something in his system. Please pay attention. And also, let's not forget that Warren's father, Dr. Benjamin Hudson, okay, works and specializes in toxicology. Now, he's a emergency medicine doctor who deals with people that have, taken too many illegal substances, okay, the O and the D. That's what he deals with mainly, but his subspecialty is toxicology. So he may be able to do a toxicology report, okay? But with that all being said, I'm not saying that he's going to do one in this case, and I'm not saying that he do anything shady, but I'm just saying the fact that he does have the knowledge to do these things, I find it all very convenient and very interesting, okay? Please pay attention. Mind you, this is all alleged. We don't know who did what. We just have a lot of suspicions, and a lot of questions have not been answered. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Now, they've been okay, so please pay attention. Now, with that all been said, thank you all, beloveds, for saying that my lips were popping. Okay, they do look rather juicy with the red lipstick, right? Okay, so listen, let's talk about this. Now, they're trying to act like Nolan was all drinking heavily and all that stuff, but what I told you all the other day was Natalie Holloway. When she went missing, she was absolutely heavily intoxicated, but nobody went in on her, and nor should they have. Okay, because that wasn't the point. But I'm just showing the disparities that they place on Black people and how we are viewed under a certain lens or microscope that no one else ever is. Okay. Natalie Holloway was heavily intoxicated on the night she disappeared. Multiple witnesses, police reports, and subsequent investigations confirmed that she had been drinking heavily during her final night out in Aruba. Okay, she spent the evening on May the 29th of 2005 partying, drinking with classmates at Carlos and Charlie's nightclub, okay, in Oranjestad. Now, with that all being said, not one of these minions, okay, these MAGA minions, these Confederates, said anything about what Beth Holiday went through. And like I said, nor should they have, because she was a grieving mother. Okay, but the bottom line is, why are they doing all of this to Nolan's parents? Well, because they want them, they don't want them to get any justice, because they don't want those white boys, if they in fact did anything, they don't want any of them to suffer the consequences. See, they don't care about justice. They just care about their narratives being pushed. That's all it is. And that's all it ever will be with people like them. Please pay attention. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds.
Hey, what's good? So, listen, Officer Brandon Tatum, you are showing your true colors. And I'm not talking about the colors on the outside of your skin. I'm talking about you showing your true internal colors. You are obviously on the other side, on the other team. You are playing a dangerous game, brother. I can tell you that right now. You're playing a very dangerous game. I know you work for Turning Point. I know you work for Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. That's no secret. Everybody knows that. But brother, you are playing a very dangerous game. And I can assure you it's not going to turn out well for you. So what you might want to do at this point is just stand back. Stand back and wait for the facts.
Why would he ever do that? Why would he ever stand back and wait for the facts, honey? He thinks that he knows the facts, but hold on. Let's see what Brandon had to say about Black Wall Street being bombed.
Same page of what happened in the Tulsa riots.
Oh no. He's about to say something I've never heard in my life before. Was it black people's fault?
There was a fight between the two. White people got the best of black people in Tulsa.
Then no, we are not on the same page.
Well,
so how many black people?
He said white people got the best of black people. Ha! The black people were literally winning. Okay. And that's why they went and started dropping bombs from airplanes, because they were getting their butts kicked. And that's the same thing they would do today. They even have more technology now. So if there was a race war today, like they keep wanting, they keep trying to incite, okay, it's not going to happen. But they desperately want one because they already know the cards are all stacked in their favor. Okay, please pay attention.
Or killed in total.
Oh, I don't know how many black people killed in total. I just know black people fired
Well,
the
I
first
do.
shot.
Can I tell you?
Well,
It was
okay.
300.
How many
and
white people were killed?
Like a low
How many white people were
estimate.
killed? And white people overran the black people in that
Can I
confrontation.
ask you? Because it kind of feels like you're
Oh man.
defending the race riot.
These race riots were so bad. The one-sidedness. People who privately owned aircraft were flying these over Tulsa to bomb the fucking neighborhoods. Like, this is a wildly disproportionate response. Just reading on a quick thing from the wiki here. Numerous eyewitnesses described airplanes carrying white assailants who fired rifles and dropped firebombs on buildings, homes, and fleeing families. The privately owned aircraft had been dispatched to the nearby Curtis Southwest Field outside Tulsa. Law enforcement officials later said that the planes were to provide recon and protect against a uprising. Law enforcement personnel were thought to be aboard at least some flights. Eyewitness accounts, such as testimony from the survivors during commission hearings and a manuscript by eyewitness and attorney Buck Colbert Franklin, discovered in 2015, said that on the morning of June 1st, at least a dozen or more planes circled the neighborhood and dropped burning turpentine balls on an office building, a hotel, a filling station, gas station, and multiple other buildings. The whites got the better of them.
Are we on the same?
Now, let me tell you all something. When I heard the guy reading what happened, I said, that's not how that went down. Okay, that wasn't private citizens in planes. Back then, I scarcely think that many private citizens even owned planes. That was the military. Now, I'm not blaming him for reading it because that's clearly what he found when he did his research. But I've known since I was a child, because my mother taught us these things and these stories, that it was the military that dropped those bombs on Black people. Okay, it was not citizens. Maybe some citizens did, but at the end of the day, it was absolutely the military that did that. It was our government that did it. Okay, and let's not ever forget that. And here it is right here. Yes, the military did get involved during the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Okay, when the Oklahoma National Guard was deployed, they were the ones dropping the bombs. That's the story I always was told. Okay, and let's not forget who dropped the bombs in Philadelphia in 1985. The mayor, the Black mayor, made the call. And see, that's what I'm talking about. You see, people like Brandon Ruckus Tatum are always a detriment to the Black community. And it isn't just because of their talking points and the things that they say about us, because we really don't care what they say, because we can talk trash about them too. But it is the fact that they allow themselves to be used in malicious ways to do harm to us, literally, okay, in more than one way, very often. That's what they do. It's not about them saying things, just like the MAGA minions want to say that we're racist against them simply because we call out their racism. First of all, that's gaslighting and deflecting and projecting at the end of the day. But they love to do that. But how are we racist at all? Because racism is a system. Okay, we don't have the ability to oppress or subjugate them. We don't have the ability to stop them from doing anything. That's what we don't have. So simply because a Black person says they don't like a white person or white people, that's not racism. And at the end of the day, for the black people who don't like white people. Well, I'm sorry, but don't they have a good reason to? Don't they, in fact, have a good reason to? I mean, look at the history. Look at the history. Now, there are some of us who believe and know, you know, and trust good white people, but some black people don't trust any of them. And quite frankly, I can't blame them. Okay, I can't blame them. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
And I'm gonna tell you how it has a negative effect on black people.
Yeah.
White people actually listen to rap music way more than black people do. They purchase it more. But black people are living the stuff that's in the music. White people fantasize of what it may be like to run up on your op and shoot somebody and kill them and go to prison.
Come on.
And selling dope in the hood to your own people.
Yeah.
Black people are living it. It's a reality. And it's reinforced. You cannot tell me that that's not a form of brainwashing.
So let me get this straight. There's no white people that sell rugs to their own people? I'm sorry, but who makes the meth again? Who brings the meth into the white folks' neighborhoods? It's not black folk. Okay? You think black people are going to be cooking up anything that can explode and blow up the whole house and them included? I'm sorry, he's really delusional.
I've listened to a lot of rap music. You know what I've never done? Shot up a school.
What does a school guy do anything?
I think you try to create this
Are you
image
saying that there's no?
this is what I mean by you seem to suggest that there's no negative.
Lack. No, you're saying that there's no negative.
There's some kind of lack that causes us to be more prone to violence, but you don't acknowledge any of the historical context.
Look how he constantly interrupts. He does that to disrupt the point that the person is trying to make. Okay? That's what he does.
Saying that there's no negative effects of brainwashing yourself about killing your brother and sister and listening to that on a day-to-day basis. There's no negative effect in that.
Right. Why are you posing this as a uniquely black thing?
Because
this is like when you make the argument that like violence has been a part of art all the time. I write for a living. You know who glorifies violence? William Shakespeare. You know who glorifies violence? Quentin Tarantino. But you don't see anyone talking about, oh my God, there's a response for all the white on white crime, even though there are more white criminals in America than any other race.
We're talking about black people.
So now we're talking about black people, so we can't bring up white people. Oh, okay, got it.
Sensational. I'm so glad he finally talking to somebody with common sense. Now, every time you get him and he get behind and he trying to talk down about black people, this is another form of self-hate that I've never seen in my life, ever.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is a whole raccoon, and he's proud of it, mind you. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now here's him just losing it. You know how he usually seems to be so reserved and calm and cool and collected? This man must have really ticked him off.
I called you. Everybody on your live stream knows you's a bitch, and when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got your live stream. I like it. You want to be hood, nigga? You want to be hood? You on the phone talking shit to me, and you call me and saying you apologize? Yeah, nigga.
I never apologize.
You apologize?
I never
apologize. You didn't
apologize.
My wife listened to you, nigga.
I never apologized. What I said was, what I said was,
bitch, nigga.
That's what I said.
Let's wrap this up. All right, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate.
Did you all see how the dude in the dashiki was laughing? Because it is hilarious. He's sitting there trying to act all tough and rough. Okay, trying to act like he's from the hood. Sit down somewhere, clown. Okay, that's absolutely ridiculous. All right, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. I want to talk about some of these cases. If you all remember, hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. You all remember the case of the little 8-year-old black boy named Noah Bush. You all remember this story? This story right here proves that, you know, these people that are racist, they teach it to their children, and they teach their children how to kill Black children. I'm so serious, okay? They absolutely do. Please pay attention.
Jessup, Georgia, a rural town of a little more than 9,000 people, where a quaint town square offers visitors a warm Jessup welcome around every corner. But just a few miles from here, where this so-called Mayberry surrenders to dirt roads and humble trailer homes, a terrible thing happened, with some hearing echoes from a deep South past. The killing of a little Black boy, Noah Bush, just 8 years old.
The body of water in which Noah Bush was found.
The boy's family demanding justice.
There is no peace. There is no comfort. There is no closure for me.
His killer, a white boy, not much older, 11, who drowned Noah in a flooded sand pit. Drawing to the fore old divisions of race and class, and begging the question, what is justice when kids kill? Noah's mother, Demetrius Bush, recalling the night her boy went missing.
Noah wouldn't be outside in the dark. Something's wrong if it's dark and he's not home.
It took a search party to find Noah's body. The sheriff's department initially said they didn't suspect foul play in his death, according to NBC affiliate First Coast News. Then, 55 long days of protests, ending with his killer's arrest and confession of pushing Noah into a flooded pit and holding his head under the water, according to prosecutors, and conviction for simple battery, involuntary manslaughter, concealing the death of another, and criminal trespassing. Another boy, 10 years old, was also convicted of the lesser charges.
Why do you think they didn't jump immediately and start asking the question that you're asking? What is it?
Because he was a little Black boy.
Pretty much.
His life didn't matter to them the way it mattered to us.
Beyond justice delayed, questions about accountability.
So we want full
Justice and accountability for anybody that was involved before, during, and after.
That is such a sad story. LeVar says, not him threatening Black on Black crime and saying the N-word. Yes, absolutely. I mean, doing the same things that he claims to despise, okay? Threatening Black on Black crime and using the N-word. Pay attention, honey. And thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
Boys whose names haven't been publicly released because they're juveniles were sentenced to the maximum allowed under Georgia law, given their ages, 2 years confinement in a juvenile detention center.
And we don't feel like that has been investigated thoroughly enough by the sheriff's department.
Mawuli Davis, the Bush family's attorney, thinks the justice system needs to hold others accountable too.
The continued fight for what we have described as full justice requires that the adults that we believe were involved in some way, either before or after, they have to be fully prosecuted.
The Wayne County Sheriff's Department has said their earlier statement suggesting Noah's death was an accident was based on an initial autopsy, then changing their finding, quote, due to information discovered during their investigation. We reached out to the Wayne County Sheriff's Department for further comment. Their response? This case has been sealed by the courts and judge. No one will be making a statement or an interview. We also sent multiple emails to Wayne County District Attorney Keith Higgins, who did not respond. The mother of the 11-year-old who was convicted in the killing is currently behind bars, accused of making false statements to police, a felony, during the initial investigation into Noah's death. The court clerk says she has not entered a plea. We reached out to her public defender for comment, but have not heard back. Bush family supporters believe the killing could have been racially motivated. To them, the killing of a Black boy at the hands of a white boy brings to mind this area's history, a recent history, of racism bleeding into violence. Just 45 minutes away, 3 men, including a father and son, murdered Black jogger Ahmaud Arbery in a hate crime. And a recent multi-county federal sting rounded up drug-dealing white supremacists, the ghost-faced gangsters that stretched across Southeast Georgia.
Do you believe that this is a possible...
Now, why didn't Tatum cover this story? Okay, why didn't he cover this story about the white rug dealers? Okay.
Hate crime?
Absolutely. We're not equipped to dig like that, but the U.S. Attorney, the FBI, they are, and we would hope that they will get involved and see this as something larger than just a single isolated incident of foul play between some children.
The FBI's Atlanta office said it cannot confirm nor deny the presence or lack thereof of any investigation. Shortly before Noah was killed, his family says troubling signs began to appear, including this photo they took of a noose hanging from a tree in their yard. Supporters of the family also say they provided authorities with an undated video appearing to show saying they were, quote, playing around, just like all little boys do. Also telling NBC News that race played no role in Noah's death, saying in part, most of the stuff they're saying about them kids is wrong, and there was not one thing or one person racist. That's damn lies.
We didn't feel safe in that area.
The family has since moved away, fearing for their safety and the prospect of one day, sooner than later, being neighbors again with the boys who killed Noah.
We know that the probability of these kids doing a full 2 years in confinement is likely to none.
The possibility of freedom before they're out of puberty, and drawing a debate about what justice even is when juveniles commit unspeakable crimes.
Noah was the light of the house. He was the joy. He was the comedian. And that was all stolen away from us. And then these kids, they get a slap on the wrist, and soon enough, they'll be right back out in the streets doing whatever they want to do.
Sisters Jody Martin and Jana Myers, allies of the Bushes, are calling for justice in their own way. A change to Georgia's juvenile sentencing laws.
So the boys were sentenced to 2 years juvenile detention. Is that justice?
Absolutely not. I mean, 2 years is nothing. And you're going to come right back out and be the same kids.
They've drafted legislation, Noah's Law, calling for young offenders convicted of serious crimes to be sentenced to longer terms.
I think that if parents in this county can be held accountable for truancy, then they should be able to be held accountable for aggravated felonies that their children commit. These kids should be spending the rest of their childhood in a detention center until at least the age of 18.
What role do you think race played in this? If it were, two black boys and a white boy is drowned, do you think that the system would respond differently?
It would have been totally different. I think they probably would have been arrested immediately.
But it's exactly that racial disparity that's causing concern. Could these efforts to get justice for a black boy end up harming people who look just like him? Historically, black juvenile offenders have gotten unfair and unequal sentences compared to their white counterparts. And Noah's family's lawyer says they don't see justice in arming the state with additional tools to do more of the same.
One of the things that we know about justice in America and justice in the Deep South, where we reside here in Georgia, is that it is not evenly distributed. And so any call for any enhanced sentencing, we believe will ultimately disproportionately impact Black and brown children. And I don't believe that this family wants a law in their son's name that's going to cause greater harm to Black mamas and daddies and grandmothers in the way that they have experienced it.
A black boy dead on the wrong side of a dirt road and rusty fence.
What would justice look like to you?
Everybody involved be held accountable. Everybody. That's justice. I mean, and we don't want half justice. We want full.
Whose killing has stirred up ghosts from the past and those still haunting us today. Tremaine Lee, NBC News.
Now, I find that all very interesting, okay? Because here's why. They only got 2 years, and their mother was clearly involved, okay? Because didn't they show a video when I did the report on that a few years ago of the mother walking back with them, like they went and told her or whatever? But here's the thing. Look at this man right here. When he was 13, he murdered a child that was 4 years old. His name is Eric Smith. Okay, 13 years old. He killed a little 4-year-old boy by the name of Derek Roby in Savona, New York. This was in August of 1993. Now, this was a huge story all over the media. And you know how much time he got? Did he get 2 years? No, he sure didn't. In fact, he got 28 years. He served 28 years in prison before he was released. Okay, so those little devils that killed Noah, they should have gotten the exact same treatments. Okay, 2 years for taking your child's life. Like, make that all make sense. And we already know that's not how it would have happened had it been the other way around, just like they said. But hold on. I want you all to pay attention to something. Now, I think I told you all the story about how my sister came to me. This was a few years ago, and she said that my nephew wanted to go hunting with some of his white friends. And she told him, hell no, you're not going hunting with them, so they can come back and say that you accidentally got shot and killed. And I was like, exactly. Is he serious right about now? I've also told you how my son Reno, when he was younger, about 16, his friend Christian, who we've known since Christian was in middle school, and Christian had spent the night at our house and all of that, but he went off to college, and when he came back, came home one weekend, he wanted Reno to go somewhere with him, and Reno asked if he could go, and I said, well, who all is going? And he said, just him and Christian. And I said, oh yeah, then you can go. But what you won't be doing is going anywhere with Christian and a bunch of his college friends, okay? That don't look like you, because we know better. So listen to this story right here. This is so sad. Please pay attention.
This is Malachi Lancaster. He went hunting with his all-white friend group and never returned. They labeled his death as a hunting accident. We didn't hear anything about this. But what is even more crazy is the reporting on this and the report from the police on this. The coroner said it makes no sense how this boy lost his life. Now, he was holding a friend's rifle when reportedly it accidentally discharged. They saying he might have fell out of a tree in a discharge, but then they said that didn't make sense. But they also saying that a vine could have hooked onto the rifle and discharged the rifle, striking him. Unbelievable. Nobody was around to witness it, and the witness statement didn't also line up with the story, but they ended up closing the case on it. Yeah. And this is the part that took the cake for me, right? The mother wanted to hire an independent investigator so that they can check out the scenery and, just cover everything, right? They said, yeah, no problem, right? A month later, when she went back to have somebody investigate this, they changed the entire scenery to cement and rock landscaping. Can't make this up. This definitely doesn't sound like an accidental discharge. Have you heard about this? I'm sure you haven't. This is Malachi Lancaster. He went hunting with his all-white friend.
So you see what kind of stories they make up to cover for these people? Make that make sense. So a vine may have caught onto the gun. That's what happens. I guess any old excuse will do. But hold on. Let's talk about this white man who murdered his entire family, sadly. Okay? And I've told you all before that when these people are mass killers or they murder their whole families, how they depict them is far different in the media than how they depict Black people who are accused of nefarious crimes. Okay? They'll have mass shooters in tuxedos in their prom pictures and brag about how they were such good math students. They just literally murdered 30 people. Okay? This is what they do. But check this out.
Sheriff confirms tonight that the deaths of a family of 8 are being investigated as a murder-suicide.
The husband suspected of killing his wife and 6 children, ranging in age from 5 to 15. Erica Erickson is here with us now. And Erica, this has left the community in total shock.
Oh, my goodness. Take a look at this family. Kimberly and Damon, so many in disbelief. Amanda, known as Mandy Karolkevich, and her 6 children, all killed. Her husband, Christopher, is accused of shooting all of them before then turning the gun on himself. Her family says they simply cannot even express their devastation.
We treasured every moment we had with her and her 6 children, and words cannot adequately express our devastation. That's from the parents of 39-year-old Amanda Karolkevich, known to many as Mandy, the wife of 47-year-old Christopher, and mother to 6, ranging from just 5 to 15 years old. 2 of their children adopted. The suspicious fire at their home on Riverside Trail in Grand Haven Township now being called a murder-suicide. Friday morning, calls coming in about smoke, but
they were unable to locate an actual house fire. Looked around the area and couldn't track it to a specific house.
a couple hours later, first responders trying to put out the fire, but finding the entire family dead. Investigators now say Chris shot and killed his wife and children before turning the gun on himself. Several fires found throughout the home. Police say intentionally set after the killings. Family pets also dying from fire and smoke.
I feel sick. I feel terrible. I feel that this should never happen to anybody.
Mandy's parents telling Local 4 that Mandy was, quote, a kind and devoted soul who loved her family and her students. Mandy, an author and active on social media, sharing family photos and videos of her travels like this one.
Okay, the girls and I are in Shanghai.
Also a teacher at Grand Haven Public Schools. The school saying earlier this year that Mandy, quote, goes above and beyond, responding with empathy, patience, and care, and pours her heart into her work. Mandy's parents saying, quote, we pray for God's peace and comfort as we grieve their deaths and honor their lives.
Okay, right now, Michigan State Police arson investigators are working to determine how exactly that fire started. Meanwhile, Mandy's family has created a donation page for legal expenses. They also say money left over will go toward a scholarship in the children's memory.
It's absolutely heartbreaking story, no matter how you look at it.
It is.
Incredible.
And by the way, we have that information for that donation page.
Dangerous places for white people is within a white family. You see this man right here? He's one of the many white men that would be considered a family annihilator. A family annihilator is an individual, usually a white male, that takes the life of multiple members of their family. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. These family annihilators usually have a history of domestic violence or some form of abuse within their family. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. There have been many studies on the profile of these family annihilators. Some of the common characteristics of these family annihilators is that they are overwhelmingly male, little to no criminal history, and white. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. Psychologists say the main motivation for these family annihilators is a high sense of self-righteousness. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. If we're going to talk about black-on-black crime and violence, then we would be remiss if we did not talk about white-on-white violence and crime. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. To the Caucasian community out there, the call is coming from inside the house, literally. And instead of focusing so much on blacks and Hispanics and the problems that we have within our families and communities, it would behoove you to police your own community and keep a watchful eye over your own families. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. Everyone in this photo is no longer here. Every last one of them in this photo is no longer here. These are Asian children that were adopted by this white couple, and everyone in this photo no longer here. This photo as well, this entire family gone. And I could keep going, but I think you get the point.
Okay, so somebody please go send that to Brandon Tatum the next time he wants to even mention black on black crime. Okay, someone send that to him. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this last clip.
I knew they killed him. I knew they killed him the minute that sheriff came out and said there's no foul play. I 100% knew they killed him because I work in hospice care, and we don't determine when the elderly patient passes away hour two what they passed away from. There are standard examinations by a medical examiner, by a coroner, by peers, what to put on a death certificate. You don't just get to decide and then out that shit to the media and say, oh, we already decided. We've made a decision, no foul play. You guys can rest. They really thought that they ate with this one. They really thought they're just going to tell stupid Americans that nothing happened and we're just going to fucking believe it. 3 white boys came back without their one black friend. That's fucking weird in itself. And nobody called for help. Nobody called to protect him. Nobody called to say, hey, yo, we lost our bro. Like, what the fuck? Nothing. You guys just all pretended like hunky-dory. And the judge and the police chief and the sheriff and the medical examiner and the DA, this is all a fucking cover-up. And you will never convince me otherwise. Nobody gave a shit about Nolan's body. Nobody gave a shit about his life. And I hate the fact that his parents didn't see this fucking coming.
Yeah, that's the sad truth of the matter. They never saw it coming. Down there in Mississippi, there's no way. Okay, there is no way that I would have allowed that. Now, she also seems to think, the same lady seems to think that Bart did it.
Be careful saying that they killed Nolan. They're going to sue you. They're suing everybody. Please sue me, because maybe then and only then you'll actually get to see the courtroom. Because in my head, I already know how you did it. I already know exactly how you ended Nolan's life, and I know exactly what you did to cover it up, because nothing in this case, and I mean nothing, even to a mute, deaf, stupid person, makes sense. The fact that you just leave your friend, the fact that you just leave the island, all of a sudden social media just disappears of 3 18 19-year-old boys with this. You eat, breathe, and live social media, because that is where the holes are for you. So you didn't just disappear it. Your mommy and daddy told you, get everything turned off, take off social media, delete everything so nobody can reach you, so nobody can suspect. And then Officer Tatum fed you some bullshit witchcraft. Oh, you were friends? You were like, shut the fuck up, Officer Tatum. You did them no favors. You actually make them look more guilty than they looked before, if that's even a possible thing. But I'm positive Bart did it. I'm pretty positive, allegedly, my opinion, Bart did it. Bart was jealous that that white girl liked Nolan, and then he was like, nah, bitch, you're not going to have my girlfriend. That's how he did it.
Okay, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Bart, you need to come to the front. And so does Jerry Adverkerson, whatever his name is, White's grandfather, okay, that gave them that alibi and told them to call the tow company. Yeah, we know you did it, Jerry.
MZ, I'm gonna keep it a bean. You full of shit, my boy. And this is what I'm gonna tell you. I said that we didn't hear that in the audio, that it was just them panicking on the boat. Okay. Prove that. Y'all have professionals in there. Prove that. Prove that they're not saying that. Translate what they actually said, because apparently the whole mother world can understand it, but y'all can't. And I'm a little disappointed that you put a young black woman. Matter of fact, black woman, I'm disappointed that you did it by understanding. Y'all remember when I said about job and being compromised? Ain't nobody gonna give up their job to have morals, integrity, and value. Yeah, but you know, I ain't gonna get on your ass. But TMZ, y'all wild from want to publish that story. Here's my thing, TMZ. Why put the audio out if you didn't believe that? Kids were just panicking. Cool. Cool. Where are those two people? You said the authority, because that's hearsay. We doing hearsay shit now? We just hearsaying everything. Where are the two people at? Who are the two people? Pictures? How did they know that was Nolan? So every black person just looks the same. How do you? So who were the people? So that means they knew Nolan? So they're not a suspect? Come on. You think me stupid, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly what he thinks. And we all need to cancel TMZ collectively. They're full of crap. Okay. And also, it has been reported as of late that they in fact tried to help cover up Malcolm Jamal Warner's death. Did you all know that? Yeah, absolutely. It's been alleged. Said that they tried to cover up Malcolm Jamal Warner's death by lying, okay, about where Tanisha was. All right, said that she was not there. And that is the first report, because I too reported on his death, okay? But supposedly somebody named Greg, who works for TMZ, told a different story. And then footage, there was a picture that came out of her supposedly standing over his body. But I thought TMZ said she wasn't even there. Okay? Who's paying them? Who's paying them? So now TMZ is the cover-up crew? Okay, please pay attention. It is time to really, really cancel them. Okay, we put up with their lies for long enough.
Who are using their platform, all those things to make sure that Nolan's story is going.
She has no interest in justice. She just wants to see the story continue. A dead son is the product. The grief performance is the distribution channel. When people start acting weirdly post-death, it raises legitimate questions. Hold on. If we can question this woman, why can't we question Erica Kirk? And I can't applaud it when, oh, well, Christine Wansley, and I don't like her, so let's question her. But Erica Kirk, she controls a lot of money at TPUSA. She's a white woman and, you know, she's attractive. Anybody that questions her is demonic. I can't do it.
Thank you to all the content creators who
Okay, so sad. Prayers for his family, because I know that his parents are going through it, specifically his mom. It is just absolutely so sad. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Hold on, beloveds. One more video just popped up. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Suspicious things going on in the Nolan Wells case. Now, I'm not just going to jump in the bandwagon and say that he was 100% murdered beyond a reasonable doubt, but man, listen. I went to this really amazing law school called Howard University School of Law. Now, in law school, one of the major things that they taught us was to always follow the facts of the case. The facts are going to tell you what they are. They are cold, hard facts. You can't change them. And if they don't help you, they don't help you. And if they do help you, then great. Autopsy results of Nolan Wells is going to be a major fact in this case. Why? Because it's going to tell you how that boy died exactly. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know that the government has concluded their autopsy results. And instead of the government releasing these autopsy results to the public or to Nolan Wells' parents and his immediate family and his attorney, Benjamin Crump, they have instead decided to hold this information and give it to a grand jury so that they can have a grand jury hearing to determine if the boys that were involved in this case should be charged with murder charges. Now, you may look at this evidence and think, oh, they're just following protocol. I don't think there's anything bad here, but I really think you should take a second look at what grand jury proceedings are. Very short version. When the prosecutors want to charge you with a crime, there's two ways that they can go. They can charge you personally, and they have to have a probable cause hearing before a judge to prove that there's probable cause in this case to hold you in contempt of these charges. Second, they can hold a grand jury indictment hearing, where they basically get a grand jury together, they present all the evidence that the prosecutors have, and the grand jury decides that there's enough probable cause in this case to indict you of the crime. You want to know the very, very interesting thing about grand jury proceedings? They're closed to the public. Any transcripts that are done during a grand jury indictment is also sealed and closed off to the public, meaning we can't call the courts or contact the courts and ask for transcripts of what happened in the meetings or what happened in any of these proceedings, such as we did in the Carmelo Anthony case. We are never going to know what's going to be said inside of that courtroom. And whoever the criminal defendants are in a grand jury proceeding, they don't even have a constitutional right to be present at the grand jury proceeding. The only people that have the right to be there is the juror and the prosecutors. The government in which this Nolan Wells case took place, they have been very adamant against truly investigating this case. And I find it interesting that now, instead of going the probable cause route where they could just charge the boys and have a hearing in court and let whatever facts come out in court, they're having the grand jury hearing where members of the community get to decide whether or not these boys should be charged. There are some
Okay, and by the way, Courtney Clenny, the OnlyFans model who killed her boyfriend, Christian Absali, yeah, that's his name, Christian Absali, or BOMBSHELL, that's his name. So you all know that she took a plea deal, right? Did you all know that Courtney Clenny took a plea deal? I find it all very interesting. These people just get away with so much when they take the lives of good Black folk. Please pay attention. I'm going to go to the news report. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. We're almost done.
When her lawyers had asked a judge to let jurors see all these text messages and other evidence they said would show the victim, that show that she was the victim, that Courtney's boyfriend, Christian BOMBSHELL, that he was the one who abused Clenny, according to court documents that were obtained by the New York Post. So why would a defendant who's maintained self-defense for years, who was planning this defense, who was planning all this evidence, agree to a plea deal? For that, you know who I'm bringing in, legendary trial attorney Mark Geragos. He's also co-host the podcast Reasonable Doubt, Two Angry Men. Good to see you, sir. Why'd you do it?
How are you? Why'd she do it? I would think, obviously, because she got a deal or an offer she couldn't refuse. And I suspect that when we find out if the judge accepts the plea and accepts the sentence, that it will turn out that they basically made the calculation that it wasn't worth the risk of a trial, and they got an offer that was something she could live with.
What do you think that was? Do you think it's manslaughter? Do you think it's a less? Is it second degree, but a lesser
I would
sentence?
imagine, yeah, I would imagine it's a manslaughter and it's a fixed determinate sentence under that state law. I can't imagine that she would ever take anything that wasn't determinate or that wasn't a reduction. Based on the evidence I've seen, this is at worst a mutual combat, and so she had a pretty good defense, and she made that calculation.
Do you think the judge would accept it? Is there any chance that the judge could reject it, and if so, for what reason?
I've had judges reject deals, most recently in Los Angeles, not once, not twice, but 3 different times with 2 different judges. So there's always that chance. Anytime there is a media spotlight on a case, that increases the chance that the judge is not going to go along with a deal, especially if the deal is objected to by the victims or the victim's close family members.
This is a tough case. I mean, look, self-defense can work, sometimes hard to predict, and she probably would have taken the stand to explain what happened. Putting that to the side, I just got to bring something up with you. This was another big legal development. Whenever I get you on, I want to try to cram as much in. So I wanted to ask you about the Luigi Mangione case. So the New York Post did this write-up on how his supporters are seemingly raising awareness for jury nullification. Essentially, as we all know, when a jury doesn't follow the law of the facts and decide someone's guilt based on feelings, emotions, what they think is right. They're not supposed to do that. Mark, is that a possibility in this case? Because I was thinking about it. If it ever came out and the juror said they could be fair and impartial, and then it comes out that they were a stealth juror who had an agenda, or they decided a case improperly, couldn't they get in a lot of trouble?
Well, arguably, but what always is kind of nettlesome about these discussions, at least to me, is the stealth jurors 99 times out of 100 are pro-prosecution jurors. They lie, they say they're going to be fair, they can be fair. Oh, maybe I've heard about it, but and then inevitably, I can't remember a single case, high profile or no profile.
Might be this one. Might be this one when there's so many people who are in favor of a defendant like this with all the money.
Exactly right. This is the exception. Actually, the twinkle in my eye is because now prosecutors have to worry about what the defense normally has to worry about, which is, are we going to have a stealth juror in this case? And by the way, this whole idea of jury nullification, the founding fathers weren't exactly opposed to jury nullification. The whole idea of the jury in America was a bulwark against overreaching government. And so the idea of the jury as the conscience of the community was designed specifically so that prosecutors couldn't overreach. Now, there are going to be people in this case saying, oh, it was an assassination, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But jury nullification per se, I don't go along with those who say it's unconstitutional or it's against the law.
Well, I will tell you, I don't think everybody's going to agree, particularly in this case, but that was the most eloquent explanation of jury nullification I've ever seen. And that's why we got Mark Geragos on. Thanks so much, sir. Have a great weekend. Good seeing you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased,
Okay, now with that all being said, we have so many injustices going on in the United States, and some people just want us to think, idiots like Brandon Tatum, just want us to really think that there's nothing to see here, that racism ended so long ago, and that we're all just playing the victim and making everything about race. And at some point, it just gets tiresome, okay? It just gets tiresome. Oh, and by the way, I have one more video. I know I keep saying that, but listen, there's a video about this young man that I literally never heard this story. Allegedly, what is this lady's name? Allegedly, reportedly, that's her name. Okay, so I'm going to go to her. I'm going to pull this video up. Hold on. Now, I never even heard about this story. It obviously didn't get much, if any, media coverage at all, but it is so crazy. Another black teen taken up out of here under very strange circumstances. And it's getting little to no media coverage. I don't think it ever got any because I literally never heard of it. Okay, please pay attention. Now I'm going to go to this video clip and then I promise we're out of here. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
In a trash bag, and police say that he did this to himself.
Hold on.
Nothing about this case makes sense, and sadly, I bet most of you have never heard the name Geragos Washington. Well, I'm here to change that today. On June 25th, 2024, 17-year-old Geragos Washington died from a gunshot wound in Parsons, Kansas. I had never heard about Geragos's case until I was tagged in a video that was put up by one of his sisters. I watched that video and then I found videos from another one of his sisters. I'm going to tag both of those sisters. I'm going to tell you what this family is saying. And at the end of this video, I beg you to go and support his sisters and help us say Geragos's name. According to his family and a recording that I'm about to play for you, Geragos's mother was initially told by the medical examiner's office that this was a homicide, so they could not release any details to her because that information was being suppressed by the police department.
It's a homicide, so I can't release any information. Wait, let me go back to that part. Information. It's been suppressed.
It's been suppressed.
But it is a homicide, and it's just still suppressed. It's suppressed, yes. I can't give out any information.
However, the family says that following communication between the police department and that medical examiner's office, the ruling changed, and it was said that Geragos did this to himself. I want to list off a few reasons why that makes no sense at all, but first let's start with what was happening that day, June 25th, 2024. Geragos was at a friend's house. He was with 3 other minors and an adult. Allegedly, a gunshot went off and 2 of those minors ran away from the scene and then returned in different clothing. One of those minors allegedly had on black gloves and had a weapon in their pocket. Now, police did interview those minors, but according to what the family is saying, they weren't tested for gunshot residue. And during Geragos's autopsy, he did not have gunshot residue on his hands. So how would he have done this himself? And I also want you to listen to this snippet of the EMS report that is read out by one of Geragos's sisters, where they talk about the trash bag.
Upon arrival, we found the patient slumped, supine on his back against the wall in a black trash bag.
Now, she reads out more of that EMS report, but it is very graphic, and I'm trying to make sure that there is not anything in this video that will keep it from being seen because his story needs to be heard. So please go to her page, support her, and watch her videos. And tell me, who is able to take their own life and then put themselves into a trash bag? That just seems like, impossible to me, but what do I know? Now, a few other details. She says in the EMS report that it states these minors were recording a video at the time this gunshot went off. She also says there's a video floating around of this. I have also read that police allowed that video to be deleted. I have also read that Geragos's phone and money were missing from his body. There is so much to this case. The family has spent time trying to get body cam footage, investigative reports, forensic records, and other evidence, but they're not getting the transparency that they deserve. And whether you believe the police story that Geragos did this himself, the family is still owed transparency into everything that is available. So we all need to be talking about this case so they know it cannot go silent. It's already been 2 years. There's an online petition where you can read more of the family story. This is the title of it here. Please go find it, at least read it. And if you feel so led, sign it. Geragos had just finished his junior year at Parsons High School, and he was looking forward to his senior year. He played football. It was his passion, and he hoped one day to make it pro in the NFL, but that dream never got to come to fruition. He was supposed to be honored at the high school graduation, but his family says that did not happen, so they had their own celebration for him. This case is heartbreaking, And if it is going to take social media outrage to get full transparency for this family, then let's make sure that they get that. I am asking every single one of you who is still watching this video, go read the petition, sign it if you can, go and support both sisters, this one tagged here, as well as this sister. Help us say Jamarcus Washington's name, and I will keep you updated on this case. Until then, rest in peace to Jamarcus Washington.
Now, how sad and nefarious is that? I want you all to pay attention. No justice for Black folk, honey. Please pay attention. Okay, please pay attention. Now, I'm going to go because she's made me curious as to what his sister actually says. So I just went and pulled up that video. This is absolutely egregious.
How do you shoot yourself in the head and then put yourself in a black trash bag? So for those who are not familiar with my brother's story and his case, my brother's name is Jamarcus T. Washington, and he was killed in Parsons, Kansas on June 25th in 2024. He was only 17 at the time of his death. He was at a friend's house. It was 2 friends there and a cousin, plus an adult. We got a knock on the door that my brother shot himself in the head. We knew from jump like that was a lie. My brother had no reason to kill himself. The police even interviewed the minors on the scene. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that 2 of the minors ran off the scene and came back in different clothes. One of those minors walked out of the house with black gloves on and a gun in his pocket. For 2 weeks straight after my brother was killed, my mom called the medical examiner office, and they told her every time that it was a homicide up until Parsons Police Department contacted them. Every time they would say, "It's a homicide, ma'am. We can't give you any information because it's suppressed by the police department." I have that audio clip of the Forensic Medical Center in Kansas City, Kansas, saying this.
913.
Let me start it over from the top.
City, Kansas, 66106. Our new office number is 913-408-6950, effective July 2023. Our 24/7 on-call pager number is 816-881-0000. Our fax number is 913-912-138.
So I was calling to see if I can get an update about my son's autopsy.
Who's your son?
Jamarcus Washington. His birthday is 02/05/07.
It's a homicide, so I can't release any information.
Wait, let me go back to that part.
Information. It's been suppressed.
It's been suppressed.
But it is a homicide, and it's just still suppressed.
It's suppressed, yes. I can't give out any information.
And I have that EMT report I was telling y'all about. I'm not going to show the actual document on here because it's a little too graphic. I'm going to read the part where I was talking about with the black trash bag. I'm going to show y'all that this is from our local hospital and his name. Okay, y'all see that? A little bit of health, name, okay. Primary impression, obvious death, okay? So, y'all, this is a lot. It takes a lot of courage for me to get up here and read this again. I'm actually traumatized about the whole situation, but especially reading it. That has traumatized me in ways that I cannot explain. The whole case has traumatized me in ways that I cannot explain. I will never be the same girl I was before my brother's death. And I hate that for me, and I hate it for my family because I was a very bubbly person. I loved life, and it's hard to love life when someone that you love is no longer here anymore. So I'm going to try to read this without tearing up, without having a nervous breakdown, but I need my brother's story to get out because this is wrong in so many ways, and I don't ever want anyone else to go through this because this has been a lot This has mentally, physically, and emotionally, spiritually torn my whole entire family down. And I honestly don't know how we're getting through these days. Well, I do is God, but it's been so hard to even just get out of the house because like we're still in the same town. And yeah, so I'm going to read this to you guys. I'm going to just read the part where it talks about the trash bag. And yeah, so, and it's also hard because working in healthcare, I understand all these words. So it's a lot more to it. So yeah, let me pause this real quick so I can find it on here. But I just want y'all to know. I don't know why it did not record the part where I was reading off the EMT report. So I'm going to read that again for you guys. And warning, it is very graphic. I'm going to read the whole sentence, okay? I got to zoom in because it's small words. Okay. Upon arrival, we found the patient slumped, supine on his back against the wall in a black trash bag. Brain matter was exposed with a heavy bleeding. PPD officer advised me patient and friends were making a video when the incident occurred. Yes, they recorded what they did to my brother. They did. It is a video floating around of what they did to my brother. Why? Y'all, these kids are, I don't know. Patient unresponsive, pulseless, and apneic. What happened, what appeared to be a small entrance wound behind right ear. Y'all, they gonna have to make it make sense. Every time I read that, it pisses me off. It makes me infuriate. Ooh, it infuriates me because like, why? This is really what we're going through, y'all. Like, I'm about to get out here because I'm about to tear up and I'm about to punch holes in the walls. Like, this shit is, if y'all support us, get this video out. We got to get justice for Jamarcus T. Washington. Thank y'all to the ones that been there from day one. Thank y'all to the supporters. Thank y'all to everybody that like, comment, share. Thank y'all to the ones that even listen. Like, I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all don't even understand. This has been so hard on my family. So I want to say thank y'all so much. How do you shoot yourself in the head and then put yourself in a black trash bag?
I mean, at this point, they just say anything, and they're clearly playing in our faces. Okay, they're clearly playing in our faces. They literally say things that make no sense whatsoever. So he took himself out and then put himself in a trash bag. The young man, Trey Reed, broke his legs and then hung himself with broken legs. Okay, make it make sense. The young man who was found hanging in his semi-truck, his hands were cuffed behind his back. So how did he hang himself? Make that make sense. The activist down there in Ferguson, whose 24-year-old son was found hanging from a tree in her backyard with his pants pulled down to his ankles and his hands tied behind his back. He hung himself? Because that's what they said in all of these cases. The devils will say anything, and they don't care if it makes sense to us or not. They don't care if we know or believe it's a lie. They don't care. You know why they don't care? Because they know that we can't do a darn thing about it because they make the rules and they make the laws. Okay? And none of this stuff is ever going to change. None of this stuff is ever going to change. I guarantee you, if they were the ones being found swinging from trees of strange fruit, I guarantee you, if the shoe were on the other foot, this stuff would absolutely cease. Okay? They would not ever be trying to get people to think that they're going around hanging themselves from trees. So why would they expect us to believe that that's what Black people are doing? Please pay attention. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like, share, subscribe, and all of that. And, I'm thinking I've got started on this live a little late. I don't know. I might just change that other live that I'm going to do. I might have to change the time on that. All right. Love you all to life, and I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
4th of July, fireworks in the sky. but the truth still buried underground. Royal Low, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the rope. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Other stories so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than them. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Fireworks fade, but the truth don't die. Royal Oak, 4th of July, not your myth.